I said to each his own, but they're all great. I've competed in quite a few of some of their shows, probably all of them, if not all of them. So,
Hmm. Yeah, we have a comment from my man Lawrence. He says, he says, I like Crimea River too. Also, we got a thing from a man, K. Ellie says, do you have a favorite bodybuilder? So if you've been in sport long as you have someone you're like you fangirl about, or you're just when you see them, or or someone who inspires you to compete as a competitor.
when I first started, funny enough, my biggest inspiration, and I saw it's old, Arnold, uh, his, what's it called? The first bio he did back in, when he pumped something,
Pumping iron.
pumping iron.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
He has been, I just think his physique and his drive, his force, everything he talks about, it's so like it was educational. I love like watching old school bodybuilders. Ronnie Coleman's story, I'm obsessed. Um, like seeing him now and then, and what he was a police officer himself.
Hmm.
So that kind of inspired me saying he can do it. I know I can do it. So when he used to work night shifts, he would take his food in the car with him. Same thing. So it's those. As far as women go, I bodybuilding I never really, but obviously I would look at my figure girls. Um, from Cindy now, Vitamin C, she's great. Jessica, they've all been huge in the sport. Natalia from Mexico, um, they're amazing. Like I can't even. Their physiques are insane. Um, I always look at them to see what they're doing, their workouts and stuff like that. Keep track of them. Um, so yeah, I mean, from men to women, I look at them all because everybody.
Yeah, we coming up. I come like right at the end of Schwarzenegger's career as a bodybuilder. I used to remember watching guys like him and Lou Ferrigno hit that battle. Remember they on the bus and they like taking out the shit. It's like, oh Lou, your muscle too small. Oh Lou,
Yeah,
Frank Colombo, Lee Haney and them. But also I got into the women when I got into my pubescent age. And people like Corey Everson and Laura Corrival, Ronnie Coleman's ex fiance Vicky Gates. She was also a police officer. They used to date. I think they're in the same force together. And one person I'm a fan of, and I think she's beautiful. I got to bring her up every time I talk about is Andrea Shaw.
ah,
I got. I'm just obsessed over her. I think she's so beautiful. She's really has changed the sport. Women's bodybuilding was almost out of IFBB. Promoters weren't picking it up.
yeah,
So few shows. Even Arnold, he kicked it out. He even kicked out physique and figure. Now, this is the thing is, I grew up watching his movies. I'm a fan of his, but his politics and his ideas about women in bodybuilding, I'm not a fan of. Because y'all ladies, you work just as hard as the men. Even though you have a different level compared to the men, you work just as hard. You train just as hard. But it's more of a expense to be a woman in a bodybuilder because you have to present yourself with more femininity look. It used to be back in the day you had one posing suit. Now you have to have maybe two because you have one for your finals or one for your prejudging. Then your hair, your makeup, your tanning. The guys got to, and I keep saying this, the guys all they got to do is wear a pair of banana hammocks and board shorts.
yeah, yeah. It's a lot more detailed with women. You have the jewelry, you have to your shoes. You got to match the suit, the earrings. Like it's so many different things. So it's a lot more expensive.
Hmm. Yeah, this is from my man, K. Ellie says, did you ever seen Pumping Iron 2?
Yes, I saw he was older. I saw
Yeah.
that one.
That's Pumping Iron 2. That's the one with it was Bev Francis, it was Ricky McLeish, Carla Dunlap. It was like around 1982, 1983, where it was debut of Bev Francis as a bodybuilder. That was the year that you
I don't
know,
remember.
Rachel McLeish skipped that year Olympia. She didn't compete that year in Olympia in 90, I think in 82. No, 83, 83. That was, I think because I think she skipped in 82. I think Carla Dunlap won that year, and then Corey won the next year after that.
No, I was that was a little bit before my time. So
Well, Pumping Iron came out right. Pumping Iron 2 came after Pumping Iron. I think I know there's a copy of it. I'll send it to you later. It's on YouTube. You might want to check it out. But it
I would,
was like, yeah, yeah, it was a great debate about women in bodybuilding, how it's evolved. But yeah, you can go back to it. If you look at those women, if you look at those women back today, they
Corey I
wouldn't.
huge was a huge inspiration also. So
Yeah, yeah, because I think she was six-time Miss Olympia. Then Linda Murray, I actually saw Linda Murray at one of the shows. I wish I got a chance to talk to her. And those women really put a stamp on that sport in the sport over the years. Iris Kyle, who has the most wins, even more than Ronnie. People can say, "Oh, she won 10 Miss Olympias," but it's still Olympia. Even if you say Sid, she has 8, and it could be someday she might surpass. She's already on the verge of tying with Linda and Ronnie, and I think another lady. I think she's a fitness competitor with 8 times. She's there to tie with them, but she could probably someday surpass Iris Kyle.
wow. I'm also a big fan of Nicole Wilkins. I know she's older, old school, but she was like a 5 or 6 time figure Olympian too. So before
Yeah,
she took over, but
mhm,
she was
yeah,
great.
yeah. This is coming from my man, K. Ellie says, "Do you feel the women get the short end of the stick?"
Um, I don't know. I mean, I'm not at the pro level yet, so I don't know. Um, I don't know all that it entails. I've only competed on NPC level, so um, I don't know. I don't know how stuff works and how now as a pro, but I don't know. I don't look at things that way. So I always try to see the positive in everything, you know.
Yeah, because like I said, it's tough being a woman. Because you know what? There's two different camps. There's the camp where it's saying that you women with muscle is not natural. People don't like to see. They feel like it's not as feminine as anything else. And then you have the camp as the other guys like when you really it's a small saying. It's true. When you rock hard, we'll rock hard. Those are the guys that can be a bit extreme, but I think if you love what you do and you're passionate about the sport, I would say do what's best for you. Don't listen to everybody else. Because we talked about earlier how yes, there's a lot of sacrifices you got to make, the time you have to make, I know you want to spend more time with your son than anything, but your passion for the sport sometimes can take the backseat to other things in your life.
Very true.
Yeah, yeah.
Try to try to balance it as best as possible. You're never gonna be fully, it's always may take away from something, but you do have an off season, and in that off season, you're not so disciplined. I mean, you're still disciplined, but you're not as intense. Let's put it that way. So
Hmm.
you have more time to dedicate, so to speak, to the other things that you maybe put aside while you were in prep, while you were, you know, but
Yeah, yeah.
the working out is still just as important in an off season, and you actually want to focus a lot because you want to grow. So it's just as important. You just maybe don't have to do 2 hours of cardio versus 20 minutes, 30 minutes, so less time. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a process, and it takes everything you have to do to make you a complete bodybuilder. You take one factor here, one factor there, and also you talk about the judges' critique. What did the judges tell you what you needed to do? Especially if you once you make your pro debut.
um my critique was more depth in my back. um that's pretty much it, and it was just talk about which category would I lean towards. And it was like right now you're in the middle. You got to decide, do you want to kind of stick with figure? Do you want to go physique and develop more, maybe get a little bit more muscle mass? She's like, I mean, it's all up to you. It's your decision. You could go either way right now, but you have to make that decision. Just back depth, I would say maybe for me, my critique would have been hamstrings, glute connection, maybe still developing it. They've come a long way, but and then it's also posing, maybe getting a little bit more comfortable with the posing and you know, concentrating on contracting certain muscles when you're posing to bring it out. There's just a lot of things that go into it. So
Hmm. Yeah, because one thing is, with you and figure, you don't only have like the four mandatory poses, the smooshy turns. You got to deal with the high heel part. That's the tough part because I know sometimes you got to think about you come on after the women in bodybuilding
car-
physique. Hmm?
the carpet, sometimes you trip up on that carpet there.
Yeah, I used to work in a strip club, and that's or hey, that was the thing. The girls had to wear the high heels on the stage, and a couple times I see some girls had little accidents, but not as often because it's a practice. You have to really train and work on it. I remember one lady who told me that sometimes she'd be on stairmasters in her high heels because she loved her
Oh,
heels.
that's hilarious.
Yeah, it's crazy. Here we got here from a man, Davis Adam. He says, well, hey, what's up? Thank you both for coming through. Appreciate you. Shout out. And also, this is from a man, KL. He says, uh, would you like to do bikini, wellness, or physique? But what is your height?
I am all, but I think they measured me at like 4'11", 5 feet, something like that. So
Yeah,
I'm class A all the way.
yeah. Because I think what it is with so much always like when you lose the extra fat, especially in your back of your feet, you lose a couple of inches. Because, and
Shorty, always. So
yeah. Well, I know some ladies who there's one lady who's in Miami who's about your height. That's Michaela Acop. She's she's 4'11", about, I know a couple ladies who are about 5 feet. Sometimes with y'all ladies who are a little shorter, you can really pack on the muscle compared to like someone like Jennifer, who's kind of tall. She's like, I think she's 5'8", 5'9". It's hard to really develop a body because the other thing, genetics can be a factor. And
uh,
you being Cuban, you have some of those, the hips and everything, and it's just that's the thing you have to work with when you are being a bodybuilder and you're competitive.
you gotta like chip away at it. Certain areas that maybe you're not as strong as others. So it's just working that muscle or trying to figure out where you need more symmetry or more development. So it depends.
Mm, yeah, and as this, are you sponsored also? Because I know that's one thing that's tough about being a bodybuilder. Sponsorship does help.
I have not. I am not sponsored at the moment.
I think it's probably the police union should sponsor you. Hey, you're a cop. Hey, come on, sponsor. Hey, y'all got a big union. Y'all can say, hey, let's sponsor a
No,
bodybuilder.
no, work is work. So
Well,
I
like I
prefer
said,
work is work and separate the two.
yeah,
So
but I think, like I said, that does help for these competitors because going to the shows, traveling, there's more opportunities because you're in Florida. There's, I think, more opportunities like shows like Tampa Bay. There's a new show in Florida. There's the Atlantic Coast, especially if you're doing physique or figure. It's a lot harder
um,
for women's bodybuilding because it's getting the pushback. And one person I always talk about anytime I talk about women's bodybuilding, that's my man Jake Wood. Yo Jake, I want that money. I want that gun. I got to do my Denzel for training every time I say Jake. I know a lot about than Jake. And you have to have a love for the sport. Like I said again, it is expensive. It's an expensive hobby. And it's not
mm,
a mainstream sport that's getting that attention anymore. I used to remember you can catch bodybuilding on television, but
yeah,
it's just not anymore. You can't find it on, it's now you watching cornhole, poker, and darts. It's just, you know,
I don't know. I don't know if there's not just a demand for it. Although it seems like in the last past years, I've seen more people getting into fitness, more people doing the bodybuilding thing, getting into the gym again, the younger generation. Much respect to, I wanted to shout out to my gym who's been super supportive here in Port Charlotte, Muscle Asylum. We're getting ready to do their 1 year anniversary Saturday, the 21st from 12 to 3. Several pros are going to be there. Um, and it's just going to be a great event, prizes and competition stuff and just meet and greets. So just they've been super supportive through my whole process.
that's good because it's again support is really important for a competitor because this is a sport that's physically, emotionally, mentally, and also financial draining. And if you can't get that support, one way you get the support the other way. I mean, I like to say I respect you, ladies. What you put yourself through to get to that next level, and People don't understand it. That's their problem. But like I said, you got to respect anybody who gets in this sport. Like Roddy Coleman says, everybody wants to be a bodybuilder, but no one lifts heavy ass weight.
Very true. Nobody wants to do the diet. Nobody's consistent diet.
Yeah, and that's the thing about that's the diet, especially after the show. I know, Stephanie, you are hungry. You are hangry. Yeah, and you and Jennifer were together. What did y'all do? What was that thing that was calling you the most? I don't
Uh,
know why.
honestly, me, I love my burgers and fries. That is always my go-to. But we actually, since we were in Pittsburgh, we went to Primanti Brothers. It's a sandwich, very well known. They make their own sandwich, like stack high. Um, just devoured them. It's roast beef, pastrami. They put fries and coleslaw on it. We had onion rings, like a whole slab of onion rings, like covered in stuff. They were phenomenal. Very great. It was a good place. So, and then of course your sweets. You always want